venga por mí. Aquí lo espero en Miraflores. No se tarde en llegar, cobarde.
That was Nicolás Maduro, just months ago, throwing down the gauntlet after America slapped a $50 million bounty on his head.
I want to sing it note for note, don't worry.
Defiant and unyielding, he dared them to come. And on January 3rd, 2026, they did. US forces struck Caracas, seized the president and his wife, and flew them to New York.
Actually, the authorities, government, regional government, the mayors, the majority, absolutely all the mayors and the government, regional government, is allied of party of Nicolás Maduro. They have a reunion in 7 or 8 o'clock in the night for talk about declarations of Donald Trump and the situation.
President Trump declared that America will steward Venezuela's vast oil reserves until a stable transition.
As everyone knows, the oil business in Venezuela has been a bust, a total bust, for a long period of time. They were pumping almost nothing by comparison to what they could have been pumping and what could have taken place. We're going to have our very large United States oil companies, the biggest anywhere in the world, go in, spend billions of dollars, fix the badly broken infrastructure, the oil infrastructure.
For millions who fled hunger and repression, this sparks hope. Yet, shadows remain. Loyalists in hiding, potential insurgency, and a world divided in outrage. Key infrastructure secured, political prisoners beginning to walk free. Opposition icons like María Machado, the 2025 Nobel Peace Prize laureate, and Edmundo Gonzalez call for immediate democratic handover. But the road ahead might not be what the opposition expected.
I think it would be very tough for her to be the leader. She doesn't have the support within, or the respect within the country. She's a very nice woman, but she doesn't have the respect to be the leader.
For Republicans, this is strength, long delayed and finally delivered.
The Republican Party have predominantly, interpreted Maduro's defense as evidence of his statue as an illegitimate dictator and a narco-terrorist. And definitely, the Republican Party has always said that he poses a direct threat to the United States security through drug trafficking and regional instability. So definitely, his refusal, Maduro's refusal to negotiate or step down was a confirmation of his criminal entanglements and definitely justifying aggressive, U.S. intervention as self-defense rather than unprovoked aggression. So GOP leaders from the Senate to the House and the GOP chairman, they all framed Trump's operation as a necessary execution of a long-standing Department of Justice warrant from the 2020 targeting Maduro's indicted role in narco-terrorism. So the Senate Majority Leader John Thune called it as an important first step to bring Maduro to justice for drug crimes while anticipating further briefing on the administration's counter narco-terrorist strategies.
So first, I would like to say congratulations to President Trump, his administration, and the very brave military that went in with a surgical strike to specific, very important assets of the Venezuelan army, and was able to go in and under the cover of darkness extract Maduro and his wife and bring them ultimately to New York. Now, I also would make this very important point that we are behind him. The majority of Americans are behind this operation. And the reason is because, first of all, we elected President Trump to be a little bit more, let's say, forceful on the domestic and foreign relations front, combating terrorism, combating these rogue dictatorial leaders that are around the world, as well as the narco-terrorists. And this has been a very big problem for America in the last few years. And even myself being here in California, we are victims of having uncontrolled drugs, fentanyl, cocaine, and other illicit drugs consistently pouring into our state and even my city here in San Francisco.
Meanwhile, the Democrats echo a different sentiment.
The U.S. invasion of Venezuela, kidnapping Maduro, is a flagrantly illegal, in terms of U.S. law and international law, a flagrantly illegal action that bodes poorly for the future of the planet. Trump made clear that he's doing this because he wants Venezuela's oil. In his national security strategy, he said Latin America is ours. This is the mind of a tyrant, of a sociopath, of somebody who controls nuclear weapons, but has the mind and the restraint of a 3-year-old and the morality of the jungle. This is a very, very dangerous, barbaric, illegal, unconstitutional action and must be opposed by the entire international community.
The aggression on Venezuela has brought about global scrutiny. Cuba's President Miguel Díaz-Canel Bermudez strongly condemned the US attack on social media, calling it a criminal attack against Venezuela and urging the international community to respond quickly. Meanwhile, Colombian president also reacted to the strikes. He said, and I quote, "The government of Colombia rejects the aggression against the sovereignty of Venezuela and of Latin America." The office of Italy's Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni, on the other hand, said that she was closely monitoring the situation in Venezuela with an aim to gather information about their fellow citizens in the country. Spain, meanwhile, offered to mediate the crisis. The big question now: would China stop at a strong condemnation, or is there more coming?
From China's point of view, this is the end of whatever it is that the U.S. was preaching. Imagine if any other country were to invade the United States, take the president and the first lady, take them to another country. Would that be considered an act of war? Obviously, yes. So the United States is on thin ice internationally, or I should say it's broken through the ice. From China's point of view, they do not want to get into a direct confrontation with a military nuclear power such as the United States. It would risk the entire world, and this is not what China wants to do. But the rest of the world should be taking notice. The fact that at this point, Donald Trump, Washington, feels that at any provocation, real or not, they can go in and change the regime forcefully. So whether you're India, Russia, small country, if Donald Trump decides that you are on the wrong side of his ideas, for instance, you're selling oil, you're buying oil from Russia, that this could not only mean sanctions, it could mean a forceful regime change. So we stand on the precipice. The old order is dead. The question is, will the countries now around the world join together and say enough? Tell Donald Trump in the only language he will listen to, which is economic.
Maduro pivoted hard towards China when the West shut its doors. Oil for loans, loyalty for influence.
Gather together, whether you're friends or not, whether your ideologies match, and tell the United States, quite frankly, that there is no room for this kind of action. That if it persists, the entire world will act as one in terms of sanctioning the United States.
But today, that alliance looks thin. Maduro paid the price of pivoting to China and still found himself out in the cold. Back in Caracas, a power vacuum has come into the picture. But revolutions without order
the reason why was Nicolás Maduro and his wife Cilia Flores kidnapped, abducted, a rendition operation carried out. When I saw President Trump's press conference, he talked about narco-terrorism. He talked about how they're involved in drug trafficking. If I remember correctly, in the past, Maduro was termed as the head of the Cartel de Sol, which again has not been proven. It's been denied strenuously by Maduro and the people close to him. But one thing is important, that as far as fentanyl is concerned, Venezuela is a negligible, if not a very negligible supply, if at all. I don't think it is, as far as I know. And as far as cocaine is concerned, again, Venezuela is negligible because it's basically Mexico and Colombia and other countries that supply or are sort of conduits for supply of these banned narcotic substances to the United States. So obviously there is something more than these accusations. As far as trafficking of humans are concerned, the whole of Latin America does that. South America, in the sense that maybe consciously or unconsciously, subconsciously, the government doesn't necessarily need to encourage it, but you remember people trying to immigrate to the United States, and it's not just Latin America, it's people from all over the world, including India, because they see that or they saw that as a land of opportunity. So that could not be a reason to take out the president of an independent country.
The Security Council now becomes the next battlefield, and for New Delhi, it is a tightrope.
India's position in this particular case, I think one is that very careful watch an eye on what has happened and the developments in Venezuela. Secondly, India will also look at the international ramifications of this, capture or kidnapping of a sitting president of a country. Which is definitely in violation of international norms. America is packaging it as not an attack on a country or a sovereign nation like that. America is portraying it as an action by American law enforcement agencies, the Department of Justice, to bring back into America a criminal, a drug trafficker. That's how America is positioning it.
Maduro had dared the United States to come for him. And they did.
And we are ready to stage a second and much larger attack if we need to do so. So we were prepared to do a second wave if we needed to do so. We actually assumed that a second wave would be necessary, but now it's probably not. The first wave, if you'd like to call it that, the first attack was so successful, we probably don't have to do a second, but we're prepared to do a second wave, a much bigger wave, actually.
Venezuela now stands at history's edge. Potential rebirth through democracy and renewed prosperity, or descent into prolonged turmoil and division. The choices in Washington, Caracas, and world capitals in the coming weeks will determine if this dramatic chapter closes open or opens new conflicts.